Hello and welcome back to another Sports Playground video. And today, I will be discussing who I think is going to win each division this year in the MLB. And I'm going to start today with the NL East. So, the NL East is where my favorite team, the Philadelphia Phillies, currently resides and, well, probably will forever reside. So, I'll naturally be starting with them. I might be a little biased, especially with this division, because it's my division. I have high expectations for my own team. But anyway, let's get right into it with, in last place, the Washington Nationals. So I firmly believe that Washington just isn't good. They sold off all their good players, not named Juan Soto, last year for, prospects. And I think it's just a rebuilding period for them, which totally makes sense. Their championship window obviously had closed when they weren't really that good last year. So it's really just Strasburg and Soto left from the good parts of that roster. And moving into fourth place, I have the Miami Marlins. They made some nice signings this offseason, including Avi Garcia and Jorge Soler. A lot of people think that Jorge Soler is going to bust onto the scene and be incredible, just like he was in this past season's postseason with the Atlanta Braves, where he was unbelievable and won World Series MVP. But actually, I don't think he's going to be that great. I do think that Avi Garcia is going to be good because, his nickname is Mini Miggy, so he's kind of already been pretty good so far if you earn a nickname like that. I believe in his hitting. Sandy Alcantara, he's an incredible pitcher. And they have some decent players all around as well as Brian Anderson, some nice players, but not enough to beat out the next team, which I have on this list, which would be the New York Mets. I know the Mets signed Max Scherzer in free agency, and they picked up Starling Marte, but you gotta remember that last year, the Mets were a great pitching team already, and Max Scherzer's just gonna add to that, but they were absolutely abysmal when it came to hitting. They just could not hit for their lives. And I don't really think that Starling Marte alone is going to be able to solve that problem, especially when you're losing production from a player like Michael Conforto, who I know wasn't the most incredible this past season, but he's still a decently productive hitter, and you gotta be able to, keep talent that can hit on your roster, especially if you're the Mets and you're already good at pitching. So they have pitching down, and they'll be good at that as usual, but hitting is still concerning. I think they'll be a middle-of-the-road team. They'll be great through July as normal, or through June, and then they'll have their normal Mets July fall-off where they slip down in the division rankings and eventually fall into third, just behind the Philadelphia Phillies, who, of course, I'm a little bit biased since they're my team. I think they'll be great this year, actually. I foresee good performances out of young players such as Bryson Stott. They're one of their upcoming prospects as an infielder, potentially a third baseman or a shortstop. They signed Schwarber, they signed Castellanos, so that just adds to their already strong bats. They also signed Corey Knebel. He was an incredible reliever last year, and that was really, at its core, the Phillies' problem. They also signed Brad Hand, who was bad, and Jerry's Familia, who was but if they can just put together decent, maybe even below average performances for seasons, I think that honestly could be enough for the Phillies to push at least into a playoff spot, because even if they were just a little bit better in the bullpen last year, they were atrocious in the bullpen, but if they were a little bit better, then they probably could have made it. But anyway, moving on into first place, we finally have the Atlanta Braves, the reigning World Series champions. How could you not put them here after winning a World Series? And you can't forget that they did it without Ronald Acuna Jr., who was an MVP candidate. He was the MVP candidate until his unfortunate ACL tear in July last year, maybe August. But that's a big loss, and they did trade a lot of prospects, including the likes of Christian Pache for Matt Olson, and that also had them getting rid of Freddie Freeman from making a move like that. But that's a loss for sure, but they will still be better than the Phillies, I think, this season, assuming Ronald Acuna Jr. can come back himself this season. And, anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.